In this lesson, we're going to discuss documenting changes. Now, documenting our changes is one of the cornerstones of an effective change management process. When we document our changes, we're not focused on just introducing a change into our environment, but we're also going to be focused on creating a clear record of what was done, when it was done, and why it was done, to ensure that we have both accountability and a roadmap for our future reference. Now, when it comes to documenting changes, we're going to be looking to ensure the version control is actually happening, that proper documentation updates are being performed, and that maintenance of various associated records is being completed as needed. Now, first, we have version control. Each change we implement can carry with it numerous other changes or impacts on your systems and networks. Version control is the safety net that ensures our changes do not create more chaos. Every document, software, and other files should use version control to prevent us from losing sight of the big picture. Version control is basically just a system that tracks and manages changes to our documents, software, and other collections of information to allow multiple users to work collaboratively and revert back to a previous version whenever it's needed. Now, by maintaining different versions of documents, software, and other files, cybersecurity professionals like us can track the evolution of a given project and its associated changes. If an error occurs or implementing the rollback plan becomes necessary, version control allows our teams to revert to a previous, more stable version of a given piece of software, system configuration, or network architecture. Our goal with version control is not to simply preserve the past iterations or history, but it gives us a centralized place where we can help ensure the continuity and stability of our environment over time. Second, we have the need for proper documentation. Now, whenever a change is being implemented, its accompanying documentation should also be updated to reflect the implementation of that change. Regardless of whether we're changing a minor configuration setting or we're performing a major overhaul of our network infrastructure, every change needs to be properly documented and recorded by updating our diagrams, revising our policies and procedures, and updating change requests and any associated trouble tickets. Updating our diagrams is an important step because these diagrams provide us with a visual representation, like a flowchart or network diagram, that provides us with a snapshot of our system's architecture. After any change is implemented, you and your team must take the time to update your diagrams to ensure they still accurately reflect the current state of your systems. Many people simply ignore this step because they think they're going to remember all these changes in their head, but I can tell you from experience, this is a recipe for disaster. Remember, this isn't just a small home network that you're going to be working on. It could be a network that spans across your city, your state, your country, or even across the world. To run networks on that scale, you're going to be working as part of a team, and so if something isn't properly documented, then nobody else on the team will know what changes you've implemented, and this can lead to a lot of misunderstandings and misconfigurations. After you implement your changes, you should then stop and ask yourself, did everything go perfectly? What could we have done better? This is an important step because not all changes are going to occur smoothly and without incident. So, if there's any issues, you may need to go back and revise or update your policies and procedures to account for those issues. Whenever you find an issue in your change implementation, it is important that you don't just rectify the immediate issue, but also take some time to go back and figure out how you can revise the associated policies or procedures to prevent the same kind of issue from happening in the future. This form of continuous improvement relies on the iterative process improvement that is going to ensure your past mistakes remain in the past and that your future changes are smoother and easier to implement moving forward. Now, once your change is successfully implemented, the associated change request or trouble ticket should also be updated to reflect the successful completion of that proposed change. This is not just a bureaucratic step, though, because it's actually going to provide you with a way to create a clear timeline of the change actions and to ensure that all of your stakeholders are being informed of the change and that there's a record of the change history for future reference. So remember, documenting changes is more than just an administrative task. It's a vital component of effective change management. To effectively document our changes, we must ensure that version control is occurring, proper documentation updates are being performed, and the maintenance of various associated records is being completed to ensure clarity and accountability of our change actions. In our modern systems that rely on massive amounts of interconnections through partnerships and the use of APIs, the proper documentation is going to allow us to be able to be guided as cybersecurity professionals through the intricate maze of systems, applications, and configurations that we use on a daily basis so that every change, no matter how minor it is, will be clearly and precisely implemented within our organization's networks.